The first reading we heard today was about Jesus' followers and how they were so courageous that even when they were in prison, they never gave up hope. Even when they were going to be punished for believing in Jesus, they still didn't give up hope. It's hard to believe that those men were the same ones that Deacon Larry just told us about in the gospel. In the gospel, they'd gone back to fishing. That's what they used to do. They gave it up to follow this man, and lo and behold, he's crucified. They didn't know what else to do. They went back to that which was familiar. But they discovered they weren't particularly good at it, at least on this occasion. And it wasn't until the beloved disciple, and isn't that a lovely expression? A beloved disciple. The beloved disciple is John. But of course, we've got other disciples, Eleanor and Jacob and Marin. They too are beloved of God. That love of John was so beautiful that at the Last Supper, he laid his head on Jesus' chest. So close, so intimate, so loving, so secure. But he heard the voice of this person preparing breakfast on a beach. He knew it was the Lord. And of course, Peter's so impetuous as ever, doesn't change much, does he? Jumps into the water. One author says he leaves the others to bring in this big load of fish. So what happened that changed terrified men into heroes for the faith, who ultimately gave their lives for Christ? They met the risen Lord. We've been talking about this now for 3 weeks, haven't we? But actually we talk about it for 52 weeks, because that's why we come here. We, like those frightened disciples, believe in the one who rose from the dead. They needed to be fed. So Jesus fed them. We need to be fed. So we come here. Yes, you probably had your breakfast, I would imagine. 50 years ago or 60 years ago, you wouldn't have had your breakfast. That's for the senior members of our community. It's not just ordinary food you're going to receive. You're going to receive the very God who brought everything into being. There's nothing that exists that God hasn't created. And so we are co-creators. Your parents, co-creators, bringing you to birth, bringing you when you were probably very small to be baptized into Jesus' suffering, death, and what's the missing word? Resurrection, Merle. That's right. You were baptized into Jesus' suffering, death, and resurrection. So the disciples met their master, the resurrected Jesus. And so they thought, wow, what an amazing experience. It so changed their hearts and lives that they were fearless. Remember? They were fearful when Jesus died. But they experienced the resurrected Lord and their lives were transformed. And I believe that our lives are also constantly reformed and renewed by that same Jesus. And whether you're 8 or 9 years old, like our first communicants, or 68 or 69 years old, it doesn't matter. We constantly need renewing. We constantly need forgiving. Peter, the night Jesus was arrested, somebody said to Peter, "You're one of them, aren't you? You're one of the 12. And what did he say? He denied him. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. And in today's gospel that Deacon Larry proclaimed, what did he ask Peter? What was the question he asked Peter? Same question 3 times. Do you, great Jacob, do you love me? He disowned him. So he was wanting to know what he already knew, that he did love him. Peter was transformed by the resurrected Jesus. We too can be transformed through God who comes to us in bread and wine. So you, Marion, Jacob, Eleanor, are going to be recipients of that same Jesus Christ, because he doesn't change. He never stops forgiving. He never stops loving. And so just as his frightened followers were transformed, I hope that you will constantly be reformed through the love and through the mercy of God. Please like, subscribe, or comment below.